After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Chega de Legacy por determinado tempo. Só vou trazer Legacy quando você arrumar um emprego. Sacanagem, né? Maldade. Vamos ver o quanto esse jogo tá legendado, né?
Flying over Pakistan, altitude 30,000 feet. Approaching Soviet airspace. 20 minutes to drop off. Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute. All right. You ready to go? Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay. Good. We've got high visibility.
Ao zero ali.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask.
Sempre vai, pô.
Does this panty waste know what he's doing? Approaching release point. 10 minutes to drop off. Hey, are you deaf? He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
E aí, José? Milagre achar esse jogo legendado, cara.
Depressurization complete. Checking oxygen supply. 6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch. Sunrise. External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius.
Mas na época não existia PS3, pô.
Stand up. You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite.
O Kojima quer sempre algo além, né, cara?
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear. Activate bailout model. This is one for the history books. The world's first Halo jump. 10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Eu tive o primeiro, Metal Gear Solid, que eu ganhei.
Countdown. 5, 4,
Era de locadora.
2, 1. Spread your wings and fly. God be with you. Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles.
E ele
His name
quem?
is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same.
On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story, so why'd he want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov.
Nada, isso aí era só uma guerra de nervos mesmo.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selinoyarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino Yask in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talon?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like
Não
you
é
can hold her
aquela
own
do
against a
currículo.
battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast,
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
Eu nem sei como é que é a foto do Live Pixel, eu teria que olhar. Deixa eu ver qual é a foto. Vou até ver aqui que tu tá falando do tanque. Ah, essa foto aí foi a foto que eu tirei com uma menina. Aí a luz da varanda do AP pegou de cima. Eu lembro dessa foto. Cara, eu não entendi porque tá essa foto. Nossa, como esse jogo é bonito no emulador, né? Mas se tu jogar ele no PS2 original, ele é todo meio... A cor é meio esquisita. É da placa de vídeo do processador. Pouca memória de vídeo do PS2.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen
Major
by the enemy.
Tom.
You must...
Mas aí ele não era Big Boys ainda. Cara, eu acho que o jogo não tem essas pegadas assim não, cara. Eu não lembro dessas paradas de pegada assim não. Eu lembro que ele era todo verde.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary...
Paramédic. Uma das fundadoras lá da parada. Eu sei, pô. A tutora dele, treinadora dele.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Ai. Olha o áudio desse jogo. Se sente numa floresta mesmo. Mas eu não lembro do jogo ser tão bonito assim, não. Acho que é porque como tá no emulador, né? Olha o jacaré. Porra, tem um ali na minha direção. Ah, me afundei. Merda. Ah, ele veio patada. Norte de Dremuchi. Só mais uma horinha de live. Hoje eu tenho que dormir cedo. Pô, mas as CGs são bonitas, hein? As CGs são muito bonitas.
Major, I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s and grenades.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission.
Já sim.
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting Camouflage from the Survival Viewer. The Uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the Face option lets you change your face paint. Choosing camouflage that blends in with your surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively. Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the Camo Index. The Camo Index shows how well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
É, pô. Home theater ninguém mais usa. E eu adoro home theater. Amigo meu teve um da Yamaha, mano. O cara vindo pra cá. Deixa eu ver como é que põe o... É, pô. Era caríssimo. O cara botou uma vez um filme na casa dele pra gente ver lá.
What the? Who's that?
Aí o caralho levou. Não lembro como atira. Eu vou lembrar. Sai, sai, sai. Ai, caralho. Morri. Não lembro de nada mais do jogo, cara. Não lembro de mais nada. Nada mais me lembro. Não lembro como atira. Não lembro de nada do jogo. Acho que é com R2 já que atira. Cara, deixa eu ver os comandos aqui. Não é possível uma coisa dessa. Não tem aqui, cara.
Who's that?
Nossa! Dei um rolamento em cima do cara e morri. Ai, que delícia. Deixa eu ver aqui como é que faz. Ah, é com um bola. Bola não, quadrado.
Radio, where's our backup?
Ah, foda-se. Nossa, cara. Puta que pariu. Puta que paroca. Ah, porra. Entendi agora.
The enemy. He's.
Porra, demorou pra ser nocauteado ele, hein? E aí, pega.
What's wrong? Huh?
Ah, cara, por quê? Como é que ele sobe? Ah, sim. Por que ele não consegue ir direito, cara?
Who's that? What's wrong?
Da puta, cara. Caralho, é muito feio esse combate do jogo, cara. É muito feio. E aí, ó? É muito feio esse combate do jogo, cara.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held. This place is a dump.
Jessie
Can't
girl.
see Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to...
Ela tem facecam, a Jessica?
Who's that? What happened?
Ai, caralho. Gameplay de qualidade. Filho da puta. Dopei geral pra me achar. Ai, caralho, aí fudeu, né? Ou não, né? Curte o quê? Um Stalker? Pô, assédio virtual? Isso existe, cara? Isso não existe não, cara. É mais uma das leis estúpidas de ser amarrada, não sei, né? Entre quatro paredes, né? Vai saber, né?
Who's that? Side of the enemy. Respond.
Puta, que desgraça, cara.
What's going on?
Os caras estão aqui, mas não vêm pra cá. Vou ficar aqui. Levanta, cara. Vou ficar aqui na maciota aqui. Não vem, né? Olha o que tá aqui. Agora vem, né? Da puta. Peraí.
HQ. This is HQ. Patrol here. We've lost sight of the intruder, going into high alert. Acknowledged. The enemy is still nearby. Pursue and engage him. What's wrong?
Ah, cara, que merda. Tava perto de zerar, mas não zerou. Ah,
What's wrong? Thank you.
opa, bem-vindo ao novo inscrito aí, deve ser da Twitch. Marina Mili. Sabia, só uma Twitch mesmo, cara. O cara vai acordar geral. Credo, vela no mamilo, feião. Escreve, cara. Você exorciza seus medos, se isso... Caralho, demora, maluco. Tudo isso pra zerar ali pra gente seguir em frente. Nossa. Tem um toque aqui na parada. Puta, voltou tudo desde o início. Continua, faltando 13 segundos eu aperto o botão e acontece essa merda dessa. Ai, caralho. Precaution. Quando acabar essa precaução é que significa que a gente pode sair. Caralho, uma das... Ué, por que o Paulo baniu a Marina Mille? Não entendi nada. As minhas histórias são muito mais traumáticas.
You must be Sokolov.
Are you one of Volkin's men? You'll never get it from me.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You're CIA?
Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
Zero?
I have a message from him.
What is it?
He said to tell you sorry for being so late.
Did he now?
What does it mean?
It means he's a man of his word. But we've got no time for this. You have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Who's they?
Colonel Volkin of Gru. You in the West know him as Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt? Never heard of him.
Thank you.
He's a member of the Army's extremist faction, a man who seeks to seize control of the motherland.
PJ
Ever since the
mais
Cuban Missile
kind.
Crisis 2 years ago,
Por que
Khrushchev
essas
has been
pessoas
pursuing a policy
aparecendo
of
no...
peaceful coexistence with the West.
se inscrevendo lá na Twitch?
Despite resistance and criticism from hawks in the army and the provincial authorities, Khrushchev has managed to suppress the opposition so far. But the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position. And on top of that, the tragedy last November.
President Kennedy's assassination.
Precisely. In a sense, Khrushchev has lost his biggest partner, and his power base is rapidly crumbling away. A certain group is plotting to use this opportunity to seize power by rallying the anti-government forces, overthrowing Khrushchev, and installing Brezhnev and Kosygin in his place. The mastermind behind this plot is Colonel Volgin of the GRU. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power.
Da Twitch. Eita, já tá com problema na lombar, cara. Aí é foda. Tem que fortalecer a lombar,
The
pô.
intelligence says that they are going to make their move during the test.
Then, the soldiers outside.
Exactly. They wouldn't need that many men just to keep me inside. Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me. Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come, I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then.
Tu tá doido, aquele agachamento é
Leave it to
horrível.
me.
Que é o assim, né? Que você põe assim, né?
By the way,
A mão assim.
your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?
From my mentor.
Is that so? America
Aquele assim, né? Que você põe a mão assim, né?
Having second
Esse é o
thoughts.
agachamento que fudeu.
I have no love for this
Fudeu a
place.
coluna do Ronnie Coleman. Pelo menos é o que alguns dizem, né?
Major, this is Snake. Sokolov is safe with me. He's doing fine. No injuries.
Good work, Snake. Now hurry up and get Sokolov to the recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
What about the sentries?
I managed to get past them.
I see.
What about the boss?
We lost contact
Treinava,
with the
pô,
boss some
treinava.
time ago.
What happened?
Não, ele treinava
Probably
esse
just a
sim.
weak signal. Just hurry and get
Treinava.
Sokolov out of there.
Eu treino normal, eu faço agachamento normal. Só vou jogar um pouquinho aqui e já vou encerrar já. Tem que dormir, tem que estar na cama 11 horas. 10 horas, 11 horas. O Ronnie Coleman treinava de tudo, cara. O Ronnie Coleman é um fisiculturista com força de basista, pô. O cara tinha uma força absurda. Ninguém nunca vai treinar como ele treinava, pô. Pô, já tem umas pernas foda. Acho que agora que aparece aquela cena que o Ocelote manda um miau. Miau! Manda um miau.
So this is the legendary boss.
Não treino glúteo, não. Mas hoje em dia tá na moda, nego, fazer aquele treinamento de glúteo lá, que é o que fica assim. Esqueci o nome agora.
You're from the Ocelot unit of Spetsnaz.
Levantamento pélvico.
What's a GRU soldier doing here?
Soldier?
He's the Ocelot commander.
That's Major Ocelot to you. And don't you forget it.
Nem sei quem é esse
Sokolov
maluco.
is ours. Now get out of here.
An ocelot never lets his prey escape.
What?
Olha lá, miau. Ah, não, miau agora.
Ah! Ah!
O do 5 não, do 4. Do 4 e do 1. Pensei que foi a Xuxa que começou com o papo. Com o pacto primeiro.
I can't say it feels good to kill a comrade, even if it is for the Gru.
Sokolov, take cover.
Huh. You're not the boss, are you?
Tá, bem novinho. Que porra. Cara, que porra é essa, bicho?
Crew operatives!
What is that stance? Huh. That gun. If you're not the boss, then die.
Major! Leave it! Shoot the other one! Whoa!
Impossible. You ejected the first bullet by hand, didn't you? I see what you were trying to do. But testing a technique you've only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have your gun jam on you. Besides, I don't think you're cut out for an automatic in the first place. You tend to twist your elbow to absorb the recoil. That's more of a revolver technique.
You filthy American dog!
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Major, do you read me?
I read you. Snake, you all right?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
Part of an internal Soviet power struggle, according to Sokolov. Something between the KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters and Volgan's.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU? Snake, it sounds like this could be even hotter than Cuba.
O que acontece?
Something about the whole thing stinks.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
Tem como arrastar os caras, né? Vai. Eu me lembro como é que arrastava. Eu não lembro como arrastava. Bora. Hora que o Sokolov meteu o pé daqui. Eu só tô com essa arma só. Tá de graça esse fim de semana pra jogar. Será que tem que voltar, cara? Deixa eu dar uma salvada aqui. Tá de graça pra jogar no PS4 a 17 e 18. É, tinha que voltar.
You okay?
Those men were from
Vou
the
só ver essa
Ocelot
cena e vou
unit.
meter o pé.
Spetsnaz.
Yes. The best GRU
Aproveita,
has to
é
offer.
dia 17 e 18. Não, tá liberado os servidores.
I'm finished.
Calm down. I'll get
Tu
you
nunca
out of
jogou
here, I
online?
promise. And
Eu
we've
joguei
got some
direto com o
best
Gabriel
backup
aqui.
we could ask for.
Pra ele pegar a platina.
Look,
É o Shagorod.
That's what they were making you build.
yes, the Shagohod, the treading behemoth, a tank capable of launching nuclear IRBMs.
It can launch nuclear missiles from that kind of terrain.
Oh yes, and without support from friendly units.
A nuclear-equipped tank capable of operating solo. Is that thing finished?
No, this is only the end of Phase 1. It won't be truly finished until we complete Phase 2.
Phase 2.
The weapon's true form. If it is completed and the Colonel gets his hands on it, it will mean the end of the Cold War.
The end of the Cold War.
Yes. And then the Age of Fear will truly begin.
A world war.
I had no choice but to cooperate. I didn't want to die. wanted to see my wife and child again in America. Please, take me to America, quickly. They cannot complete it without my help.
Got it. Let's go.
Agora vai aparecer o Vogue e a The Boys aqui. Aí ele vai, acho que vai fazer um CQC nele e vai derrubar ele da ponte. Muito, e o gráfico tá bonito no emulador, cara. Eu não lembrava que era assim, não. Que no PS2 esse jogo ele é muito esbranquiçado, né? Cada placa de vídeo. Também concordo, melhor Metal Gear. Sempre fico entre ele, o 1 e o 3 e o 4. O 1, o 3 e o 4.
Boss?
Também não curto, não.
Good work, Jack.
What are you doing here?
Sokolov comes with me.
Hornets?
Caralho, eu odeio vespas, cara. Vespa, essas porra. O Peace Walker eu não joguei, nem o Peace Walker nem o Portable Ops. Que eram de PSP na época.
My friends, let us fight together again.
I have waited long for this day.
We will fight with you once more.
Olha o The End ali.
Welcome back, boss.
Now that all 5 of us are together, it's time we go to the depths of hell itself. It's raining blood. Is he crying?
É o Sorrow, né? The Sorrow. Né?
Kuwabara, Kuwabara. Ah, what a joyful scene.
Colonel Vogan.
Welcome to my country. And to my unit.
Boss, what is this?
I'm defecting to the Soviet Union. Sokolov is a little gift from my new hosts.
Recoilless nuclear warheads. These will make a fine gift for me.
This can't be happening.
Who is he? Another one of your disciples? Are we taking him with us?
No, this one is still just a child. Too pure for us Cobras. He has not yet found an emotion to carry into battle.
What are you talking about?
Think you can pull the trigger?
He's seen my face. We can't let him live.
Já imaginava.
Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished. He must die.
Wait. He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him. Jack, you can't come with us.
Não sei, acho que não. Foi só pra relembrar mesmo. Eu tô muito enferrujado.
The new blood has been rejected.
Mas vamos ver, né? Vamos ver. Tudo depende da... Tudo depende.
Are we done here?
Now, onto Sokolov's research facility.
Shagohod is ours.
Pô, até hoje me pedem, cara. O Peace Walker. E eu também nunca joguei. Todos os Metal Gears eu me diverti, menos o 2, cara. Não sei porquê.
Snake, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just barely.
Snake, listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment. Can you move? You've got to get those wounds treated. Hang in there. All right, let's get you fixed up. Paramedic?
Okay, Snake. Just relax and it'll all be over before you know it.
Não curto muito, não. Ele.
Stay with me. I've seen people in worse shape before. Think you can handle it?
Major. The boss. She's defected.
We'll talk about that later. First, we've got to get you patched up.
Okay, here we go. First, open the survival viewer with the start button. If you select cure, you can start the treatment. Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Your injuries include a fractured left elbow and rib bone and lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen. They need to be fixed using surgical treatment. Move the healing cursor with the left analog stick to the affected part of your body. Once you've selected the affected area, hold the weapon window button and use the left analog stick to select the medical item and then press the enter button. With this method, you can use items to help your recovery process. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it. For lacerations, you'll need disinfectant to clean the wound, sutures to stitch it up, styptic to slow the flow of blood, and bandages to wrap the wound. If you do everything I mentioned, the wound should heal completely. Understood?
Yeah.
Stay with me. Go into the survival viewer and treat those wounds.
Me curei. Tô curado. O quebrado matou.
Good job, Snake.
We're coming to get you now. Just stay where you are. We'll drop a recovery balloon. Can you set it up?
Shagohod.
Quatro helicópteros pra guinchar o tanque. Buongiorno.
Excellent. A great success. Thanks to the boss and her cobras, I have both Sokolov and the Shagohod.
What are we going to do with the girl?
Who is she?
Apparently she's Sokolov's woman.
She's a nice catch. I'll take her. Not so fast, my dear. A kiss of death.
Are you KGB?
We may be able to use her. She has spunk.
Shall we take her back to the base?
Perhaps we should. We have no further use for Sokolov's research facility. I think it's time I gave this marvelous new toy a try.
Colonel, even if they are our enemies, they're still our countrymen.
But it won't be me that pulled the trigger. It'll be our friend, the American defector.
You're going to nuke your fellow Russians?
Remember the Alamo.
Colonel!
Ih, saiu do jogo? Ou não? Ou isso é do jogo? Ah, agora vem a musiquinha.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill, I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I'd like to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Absoluto cinema.
Currently flying over the Arctic Ocean, altitude 30,000 feet, approaching Soviet airspace. Arriving at the designated drone launch point. Drone oil pressure and voltage are nominal. Payload oxygen supply is nominal. Power supply to payload antifreeze system shows no problems. No gusts. All systems go for drone detachment.
Snake, we can't risk a halo jump this time around. Airspace security has gotten tighter since we were last here. We can't get as close to the ground as we did during the Virtuous mission. So instead, we'll be using one of our newest weapons. Snake, you're being given an honor on par with Alan Shepard. This is our last chance. Show your patriotism. If you fail, you'll be back in a hospital bed again, waiting for the firing squad. So how does it feel to be a patient in one of the most advanced ICUs in the world?
Would you do me a favor and tell the suits about visiting hours? I'll never get better with them assaulting me day and night with their questions.
Must be part of the top brass's inquiry.
More like an interrogation. According to them, I'm a traitor and an accomplice to the boss's defection.
They're just looking for a scapegoat.
Does that mean they're after you, too?
Let's just say neither one of us is going to be made a national hero out of this.
Does this mean Fox is going to die?
No. This fox is still one step ahead of the hounds. The reason I came to see you today, Jack, it's time for Fox to clear its name.
What are you talking about?
The situation has changed. We've still got a chance to come out of this one alive.
Yeah, what kind of chance?
Don't get too excited. Here, have a cigar. It's Cuban. This morning, I had a meeting with the CIA.
They decided when they're going to execute us?
No. Something even bigger. Yesterday, the White House received an unexpected call.
President Johnson?
Yes, I hear you, Mr. Chairman.
It was a hotline call from Khrushchev to President Johnson.
From the head of the Soviet Union?
That's right.
A few days ago, one of our country's main design bureaus, OKB 754, was destroyed in a nuclear explosion. At about the same time, our anti-aircraft radar picked up a signature that appeared to come from one of your military aircraft. Does any of this sound familiar to you? In retaliation, I have placed our armed forces on secondary alert. Depending on your response, I may be left with no choice but to order the military to maximum alert and unleash Armageddon. With the help of your predecessor, I was able to survive the Cuban incident. But my power is not as great as it once was. If I am to survive this crisis, I must have your full cooperation.
I should have contacted you myself. Did you know that one of our soldiers defected to your country a week ago?
No.
So you haven't heard then. The man who arranged the defection was a GRU colonel by the name of Yevgeny Borosovich Volgin.
Volgin, of the Brezhnev faction. Go on. Who is the soldier?
Her name is the Boss. She's a living legend. During World War II, she was the one who led us to victory in that war. In Russia, you know her as Voyevoda.
You mean the boss? The mother of your special forces?
Yes, that's the one. And she took 2 miniature nuclear shells along with her.
The boss took 2 miniature nuclear shells.
I'm afraid so. I believe they were a gift for her new hosts. The Davy Crockett Atomic Battle Group delivery system was completed 2 years ago. But serious problems were found with the launcher's range and precision. Although they were mass-produced, they've never been deployed in battle.
But Sokolov's research facility was completely wiped out. The whole area is polluted.
I can only offer you my deepest condolences over this terrible tragedy.
So, the boss, with Colonel Volgin's help, stole 2 experimental nuclear shells and took them with her as gift when she defected. Then, shortly thereafter, Sokolov's design lab, a top-secret military research facility, was destroyed by one of these weapons. Am I right so far?
Yes, that's correct.
And the American government denies any involvement in the affair. Is that right as well?
That's correct. We were not involved in any way.
Then what was a U.S. military aircraft doing on our radar screen? It was clearly in violation of our airspace. And yet you say it was not acting under your orders.
That's correct.
You expect me to believe that this was all the work of a single soldier?
I don't know what else to tell you.
The army insists that this is all a ploy on your part.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. Our government had nothing to do with it.
And I would like dearly to believe you. However, I'm afraid my power over the military has weakened since the Cuban incident. I will need some kind of proof that this was not the action of the American government. You have 1 week. You must catch the boss yourselves and recover the remaining nuclear device. Then, you must find some way to prove your innocence.
Prove our innocence?
Yes, preferably something painful. Prove to me that this is not merely another one of your tricks.
The boss should be close to Colonel Volgin. How about a little co-action?
I would not expect too much if I were you. The political situation here is unstable. And Colonel Volgin is a member of the Brezhnev faction, which seeks to topple my government. 1 week. You have only 1 week. And if it is not too much to ask, do something about Volgin as well.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing means nothing. Call it a modest gentleman's agreement to ensure our continued relationship.
What if we can't prove our innocence?
Then I will be unable to restrain the military. I will be ousted, and they will seek their revenge.
A nuclear attack on the United States?
I leave the disposal of this situation entirely to your discretion, Mr. President.
Disposal, huh?
If you fail, it will mean the beginning of a new world war.
To put it simply, in order to avoid a full-scale nuclear conflict, we have to prove that America was not involved in that explosion.
And eliminating the boss ourselves will prove America's innocence?
Right. The higher-ups have decided that you're the only one capable of pulling this off. You were her last apprentice. Screw this one up, and we'll both be 6 feet under. There's no choice.
Are the Russians going to be helping us?
The KGB has promised to lend us one of their communications satellites so that you and I can talk to each other.
That's it?
They've also put us in touch with a couple of insiders.
Insiders?
There was a defection in September 1960. Do you remember it?
You mean the two NSA codebreakers who went over to the Soviet Union?
Precisely. Since then, they've apparently been training with the KGB for exactly this kind of situation. Their code names are Adam and Eva. I've been told that Adam has infiltrated Volgin's ranks. We've also arranged for him to provide you with an escape route. You'll need to rendezvous with him when you get there.
Control. Unidentified aircraft detected. Altitude 30,000 feet. It's fast. Estimated airspeed exceeding Mach 3. Bearing south. I'm about to lose it.
This is Snake. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. Glad to see you landed safely.
I got blown pretty far off target.
Snake, let's go over your mission objectives one more time. Rescue Sokolov. Find out what's happened to the Shagohod, then destroy it. And finally, eliminate the boss.
Eliminate the boss.
This mission will be codenamed Operation Snake Eater.
Because I'll be taking on the boss in our Cobra unit, right?
Don't forget about Colonel Volgin.
I'm not a hired killer.
I know, but that was the Kremlin's demand.
Demand? You mean it wasn't just a request? What's it to us if the Khrushchev regime is threatened by the colonel and his faction?
If supporting the current regime helps us avoid a nuclear exchange, then that's what we'll do.
And what are the CIA's demands?
Our priorities are the rescue of Sokolov and the destruction of the Shagohod.
Roger that, Major Tom.
Hold on, Snake.
What now?
I'm changing my codename. It turns out Tom wasn't the most auspicious choice.
What do you mean?
Well, the truth is, when I chose my codename, I picked the wrong one.
The wrong one?
Did you ever see the movie The Great Escape? It came out last year.
Oh, must have missed that one.
Anyway, it's based on a true story about prisoners who escaped from a POW camp in Nazi Germany. The prisoners dig 3 tunnels as part of their plan, but the Nazis find 2 of the tunnels before they're finished. The prisoners succeed in escaping by using the last remaining tunnel. The names of those 3 tunnels were Dick, Harry, and Tom.
I get it. You used the name of the tunnel they escaped in as your code name because you thought it would bring you good luck.
Yes, that's exactly right. At least, that was the plan.
But
But I got the name wrong. The one they escaped in was Harry. Tom was one of the unlucky tunnels. It was discovered by the Nazis before it was finished. I watched the movie again just to make sure. In fact, I even ordered the actual film from the movie company.
yeah, it doesn't sound like the greatest name to use. So what should I call you?
You know, let's just use Zero, like we've been doing all along.
All right then. Major Zero it is. We'll start over from square one.
From square zero. My frequency is 140.85. Oh, I almost forgot. Paramedic is with us again on this mission.
Is this her last chance too?
If we fail, she'll have her medical license revoked. It's more or less the same kind of fate. Her frequency is the same as during the Virtuous mission, 145.73. She'll be recording your mission data as well, just like the last time. That frequency is also the same, 140.96. And there's one more person on your support team. His name is Mr. Sigint. He's an expert on the latest in weapons and equipment technology. You'll be going up against some of the world's most advanced weaponry when you infiltrate the research facility. If you have any questions, just ask him. His frequency is 148.41.
Mr. Sigint. Got it.
Adam, your KGB contact, is waiting for you at the abandoned factory up ahead.
The same factory Sokolov was being held in last week.
Yes, meet up with Adam first. He's cleared the way for you to rescue Sokolov.
How'll I know this Adam guy when I see him?
You'll know once you reach the factory. The whole area's been polluted by the fallout from that nuclear blast. No one else would dare come close. The password is, "Who are the Patriots?" and "Lali Lule Lo."
Lali Lule Lo. Gotcha.
You've been equipped with a 45 for this mission. Be careful, it's noisy.
I thought standard Fox procedure was procure on-site weapons acquisition.
The circumstances are different this time. You're now on an official mission for the United States government. It would be necessary to make your presence known to a certain extent, to the Khrushchev regime at the very least. But remember, this is still a sneaking mission. Snake, if you fail this mission, it will mean an all-out nuclear war. Keep that in mind and proceed with extreme caution.
Understood. Commencing Operation Snake Eater.
Pronto, vou encerrar por agora, amanhã eu volto. Porque muito do jogo é só